I'm back with another video for the Carrier company to be pissed off at me over. But no, I honestly appreciate their efforts towards at least trying new things, even if they're so ill-advised. And that's because I think something we all enjoy so much is just watching the progression, the development, and seeing where we can go and see where we should go and what direction we should go in. And this is another data point in that development, a costly data point that I'm sure cost them a lot of money to make, but nonetheless another data point, and there is something to be learned here. So I got a batch of these props early on, and their original mold was not balanced, and the props were just about unflyable. I do know that the more recent batches, recent versions are well balanced, and they do function fine, but I had these kind of sitting around for a while, and this video is kind of many months in the making, and I'm really just making it out of respect for Nathan Tromboli. I hope I said his name correctly, and I know everybody's very tired of these props already. The Carrier company has gotten so much exposure for just making these props, and so that should be rewarded enough because they did something that's very new, very different, and probably very ill-advised. But my bright idea, which was probably more ill-advised than the original idea to make these props, was to shave the bumps off these props, shave the ribs off of them, and attempt to compare the props. Now, I did understand that by shaving these props down, you drop a bunch of weight off the blade, and so I expected it to be more responsive, but I learned something that I didn't expect to learn, and that's really what this is about. So what I did was I sent all these props to Nathan. I had him shave a bunch of sets down and then balance them, which was an immense amount of work for him, and which is why I'm really making this video, because he did put an immense amount of work in this video. And then I sent the props to Mr. Steele and Alex Vanover for them to test it, because why should I be the only one to test it? Other people are capable of testing it too, and I'm sure you guys would love to hear from other people that have been doing this stuff a long time and are arguably as professionals get in this industry to be able to give their opinions on this matter. And so I sent it to them. They've had it for several months, and that's what I've been waiting for them to respond to. And I honestly, they both said that they would happily do it, and I completely understand why it took them so long to get around to it. Steele actually sent this video to me more than a month ago. I'm still waiting for Vanover's video. He is just very busy, and honestly, it's not that great of a test to do in the first place because of the reasons I'm going to point out a little bit later. But basically, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, the gist of it is that there are too many differences between the two props to be able to compare them, and the surface quality of the prop actually does matter quite a bit, and that's the one thing that I learned out of this whole thing. And it's very interesting to see that Steele actually came up with a very similar conclusion that I did, and we both actually preferred the ribbed version, but probably not because it has ribs on it. And so you guys make your own conclusion from all this information. I'm going to run Steele's video first. I'm not going to put the whole flight video, and you can go watch his full flight video in the link in the description below. There's a link to another video with all of the videos Steele sent me, because I know you guys love watching Steele. It's fun to watch. And then I'm going to run my opinion of this after that. And if Vanover gets around to it, I hope that he posts his opinion of the props and the difference between them on his channel as well, hopefully without watching.
Well, to be honest, I think the ribbed ones flew better. They just felt like they had a little bit more bite. But it might be because these don't have the winglets on all of them, and they've been hand sanded with like coarse grit sandpaper, and the airfoil is slightly messed up on the tips because of the blue tack. I mean, there's so many variables here. This is not like a super scientific test. I mean, look at what we're dealing with here. This is like hand filed stuff. I get it. Like, it's an idea, it's a test. We're trying to determine whether or not ribs do anything. Yeah, I guess in my personal opinion, I think a lighter weight prop is always going to fly better than a heavier prop. in most instances, especially if you're looking for response and spool up time, which those things kind of go hand in hand. However, motors are not necessarily hot, but they're definitely hotter than the typical setup that I run, because it is so much lower pitch, and everything that's designed for my setup is designed around like a 1800 kV motor and a lower pitch prop that spools up quicker. That's why you can go with a higher kV. So there's plenty of reasons why one setup might be better than the other, but in my case, and in my personal experience, again, a lighter weight prop is going to serve you better than a heavier prop in most instances, unless you're going for something specific and you don't care about response, or very quick response. I guess it's all relative. Like, what people think is responsive, I might not think is responsive, or what most people think is not responsive, I might be like, well, yeah, that's a boat, and how is that even flying? But I don't know. I like a very responsive quad, and this type of prop, regardless if it's ribbed or not, I think it's going to always suffer from being heavy. Also, fundamentally, it's going to be harder to balance because of the amount of plastic and where it is on the prop itself, because the mold is accurate, but because it's more complex, it's going to probably be more difficult to get it to be perfectly balanced every time. So sorry it took me so long, Bob, and hopefully this was good enough. If not, I can do some more and actually fly these FPV, because I just wanted to see line of sight, because I had a pretty good idea of what I was going to find. And as far as comparison between this prop and the rib prop, I would prefer the ribbed, but I told you my reasoning, and it's probably because these are super hand hacked and the other ones are just balanced well. What the fuck? Smells like a motherfucking barbecue in this bitch.
So what could I tell about these two honestly wrecked props from the company and after balancing? Well, probably the most significant thing I could say is that prop balancing does actually work really well, and Nathan did a fantastic job balancing these props, because I was honestly expecting them to explode, especially the one that was shaved down, but it didn't explode. It actually worked really, really well. I went back and forth testing them on 3 different quads, 2 aqua quads and 1 racing quad, and I had same results in all of them. The regular prop, I only showed you one quick video, because honestly the video doesn't really matter that much, but the regular prop, it feels very sluggish response, not very high speed, especially for how aggressive the prop looks. The GemFan 51466 actually feels faster than this prop. The shaved down version felt slightly more responsive, consistently slightly more responsive. I could actually feel that across multiple quads. Felt about the same speed. There's no detectable difference between the grip at all. It just felt exactly the same on the turns and on the grip perspective. It's just nothing different. But the shaved down version actually felt less efficient, and I knew it was less efficient because I was getting battery voltage warnings earlier than I was getting with the non-shaved down version. And it looks really poorly polished, and it actually feels really smooth. Really hard to tell on here, but it really is a really smooth. He did a great job of polishing it down and making it feel smooth. He was going to really put a polish on it, but it just was kind of too much work for something that was so wrecked to begin with. And I do think that this surface quality is probably what's making it feel less efficient. And the reason why this one tends to feel like it's more zippy through the air is because it does have a smooth finish on the prop. So at high speeds, at high RPMs, this prop feels like it does take a little bit more energy to push through the air. However, the response of the prop was definitely better without these ribs, because it does weigh less as well. Otherwise, yeah, I couldn't detect anything to do with the grip at all. I recorded this before talking to Vanover and Steele. I hope both of them got their videos to me. I asked them for videos. I hope I was able to get them in this video, both of them. But yeah, let me know what you think about me, them, and everything about this situation, and if I did a good job, which is inconclusive, but hey, it's better than nothing. Take care. Floss your teeth.